But anyway, he couldn't do it.
Are you?
Morning.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning. Well, good morning. Yes, sir. Oh, please have a seat. So, good morning and welcome to Virginia War Memorial. We're so appreciative of the work the War Memorial staff does to help commemorate the service and sacrifice of our Virginia veterans. There's no place that's more perfect today than to do what we're going to do. And so to the great staff that put this on and manage this building day to day, we really do appreciate what you do, and we really appreciate what you do for Virginia. So again, thank you, and continue to do what you do. We're up. Yeah. Yeah. And so as I look at the audience, I'd like to also thank you. I mean, this is a special day. And what makes it even more special is that your presence here. And so today we're going to do a couple of things. And oh, by the way, we want to talk about who we have here as well. One of the things that we're going to do this morning is that our governor is going to sign legislation that passed during the 2022 General Assembly session supporting Virginia military and the veteran community. The governor will also sign the Armed Forces Day Proclamation, and he'll be joined by some distinguished guests. So let me just kind of highlight who we have here this morning, which I think is very important. And please, it's a list of them. You see them right in front of you. But I'm going to go down this list, and we'll wait to the end to applause. We have our Lieutenant Governor, Winston Sears, our Attorney General, Jason Mieres, Senator Jen Kiggins, Senator John Cosgrove, Delegate Ann Tata, Delegate Buddy Fowler, Delegate Emily Brewer, Delegate Bessie Carr, Delegate Kathy Tran, Delegate Scott Wyatt, Delegate Jackie Glass, Delegate McGuire, Delegate Mike Cherry, Delegate Rodney Willett, Delegate Catherine Murphy, Delegate Bobby O'Rourke, and we have, did I miss anybody?
I think that's the entire General Assembly.
Yes, sir.
Should be.
And also,
exactly right.
And also we have some special guests for today's event, and that's Tamara Stites, the president of Gold Star Wives of America, Link Smith, president of Virginia Council of Chapters, Maria and John Kelly, Tracy Volke, Edie Smith, are members of our National Guard and members of our Virginia Defense Force. And so I am pretty honored to be here today to provide as the master of ceremony. You know, within my secretary, I'm very fortunate. I have a great team. That team is made up of Commissioner Daniel Gade, who is in charge of our DVS and our military affairs, Major General Tim Williams. This is huge for us because what you have done as delegates and as supporters have made this possible. We are fortunate as well to have an outstanding leader who recognizes that there's things that we can do to support our military family, our veterans, and this is really just a peak of that. The beauty of all of this is there's work to do. There's more to come, and with the leadership that we have within our team, and the governor at the helm, it's going to make a difference. So I really do appreciate all the support that you provided to this team and to the citizens of Virginia. Part of today, as I mentioned, is Armed Forces Day, or we're going to do a proclamation. And part of that discussion is kind of bring up your tag, the Adjutant General of Virginia, who has been a leader by all accounts in pushing the efforts forward, what we do as service members. Tim has led that effort. You can see from the audience, the folks that are here to help him and support him. And we have the right person at the right time to be in charge of our National Guard. Major General Williams.
Well, good morning.
Morning.
I'm Major General Tim Williams, the Adjutant General of Virginia, and it's certainly my honor and privilege to be here this morning to represent the more than 9,200 soldiers, airmen, Virginia Defense Force personnel, as well as the state and federal employees that make up the Virginia National Guard. I do need to take a moment to recognize our governor and his administration and our state legislators for being with us today and all that they've done for the Virginia National Guard during the 2022 legislative session. I want to acknowledge and thank Secretary Crenshaw and his whole team. They are motivated, passionate about their work, and frankly, leadership matters, and they're doing a fantastic job. The bills being signed today demonstrate the commitment of our administration and our state legislators to help the Virginia National Guard recruit and retain the best and the brightest to serve our Commonwealth and nation by enhancing our state tuition benefits, providing referral incentives, and establishing health care safeguards for troops serving on our state active duty status. These benefits add value to Guard membership and contribute to the strength of our formations. I also want to thank the Virginia National Guard Association for their work in support of our troops, championing a bill to increase the number of military leave days for state employees from 15 to 21. Their advocacy and support, along with the Virginia National Guard Enlisted Association, is incredibly well appreciated. The employment of the National Guard over the last 2 years has been unprecedented, and that's why the support of our elected officials has been more important now than ever before. We recently welcomed back the soldiers of the 29th Infantry Division from federal active duty deployment to Kuwait and Jordan. When they were mobilized, we had 2,000 Virginia National Guard troops deployed overseas, and was the most since the Iraq surge of 2007. When you factor in the 29th ID soldiers from Kentucky and Maryland, it's the most divisional troops that have been deployed outside the United States since World War II. We still have troops deployed overseas, providing air defense site security in Iraq, a security response force in the Horn of Africa, a brigade headquarters in Kosovo, and many more. Here at home, the Virginia National Guard soldiers, airmen, members of the Defense Force provided critical support to our state's COVID-19 response and assisted civilian law enforcement during periods of civil unrest, and also assisted state and local governments during hazardous weather response operations. And through all these missions, our families and employers have stood behind us, providing their critical support, absolutely essential to mission success. The Virginia National Guard traces its tradition of citizen service to the founding of our Jamestown colony in May 14, 1607. We celebrated our 415th birthday last week. And as we look to the future to build on the successes of more than 4 centuries of defending our fellow Virginians, knowing our governor and our legislature will continue to work for us is a source of incredible and great pride. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with us today. I would be remiss if I didn't call out a very special person to myself and my family, the Kelly family. Maria, John, it's so good to see you here today. Thank you.
So let's give a big hoorah for our Virginia National Guard. Hurrah! You know, one of the additional beauties I have is really to work with generals. We have another general, the Attorney General, that I have opportunity to work with on a regular basis, and really another proponent of what we do in supporting our military and our military families and our National Guardsmen. Attorney General, please.
Well, I like to say I'm maybe a general in my office, but I'm a private at home. So we're gathered here in this hallowed ground to show gratitude for those that have served before and those that currently serve. One of my earliest memories is being as a child in an elevator and my mother meeting a Vietnam vet and thanking him. And I asked her why, and she said because so many people failed to do so. To recognize the names on these walls, and so many throughout our history have fought and they bled for their country, from the shores of Tripoli to places like Pork Chop Hill, Iwo Jima, the boys of Bedford that stormed the beaches of Normandy to liberate a continent, from the forests of Belleau Wood to La Drang Valley, to the frozen Chosin Reservoir, to Mosul and Kuwait. They are the very, very best of what Virginia has to offer, and we show our gratitude. Throughout history, what we've seen so remarkable about the men and women that have served, as they oftentimes leave their hometown, they go overseas to a country they don't speak the language and they don't know the people, they bleed and they died so others can live on the altar of freedom. And they don't seek money, they don't seek power, and the only land they ever seek is a place to bury their dead. It's a military force unlike any others, and Virginians have always been part of it. These bills that we're about to see signed today is an example of the gratitude a Commonwealth has, the very, very best, a truly noble and decent fighting force. I'll end with a story that President Reagan liked to teach. He talked about after the fall of Saigon, with the Vietnamese boat refugees. The situation was so bad they literally got on a raft and they went out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. They ran into a United States Navy destroyer. And a young boy looked up at a Navy enlisted man staring down at him. And he said, "Hello, Mr. Navy man. Hello, Mr. Freedom man. To the freedom men and women, thank you. Woe be a nation that ever forgets their heroes. Woe be a Commonwealth that ever fails to honor them. Thank you."
I mean, I think I have the best job today. It's just introduce, or at least present the speakers, and really, what you're looking at now is a Marine who's done all great things, and now she's just leading our Commonwealth as our Lieutenant Governor. Please join me in welcoming our Lieutenant Governor Winston Sears.
What a great country that I, the corporal, was being introduced by a 2-star general. America, what a country. You know, there are times when people talk about self-interested, narcissistic people. That's not who veterans are and the men and women who continue to serve in our armed forces. No, those are not the descriptive words about us. And I hope not to come across as self-serving in the words I'm about to use, but you are a people who know sacrifice, and your families know sacrifice. There is service, but there is a specific service called sacrifice. And today we are here to honor you and to thank you for that sacrifice. We don't do these bill signing ceremonies because we want you to bake in the sun, but because we want to specifically call attention to those acts of the General Assembly that so greatly talk about the things that are worthy of public notice. And in that vein, we thank our legislators, our members of the General Assembly, who put forward these these pieces of legislation to honor that service and that sacrifice, all the way from the help for disabled veterans, help for their businesses, child care, even the recognition of the spouses that have come alongside the veterans. And again, we thank you for doing that, because this, of course, helps to attract and retain those veterans here to Virginia, because we so need the discipline that they bring. We so need the talents, the capabilities, the respect. We need veterans here in Virginia. And I want to finish with this because it is so true today. And it describes our armed forces. This was by President John F. Kennedy. And this is what he said: "Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that the armed forces will serve and pay any price, share any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, in order to assure the survival and the success of liberty." That's what we do. That's why we serve. We care about this homeland of ours. And I look forward to the wonderful remarks of our own Commander-in-Chief, Governor Glenn Youngkin.
Good morning. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you, General Miyares. Thank you, Secretary General Crenshaw. Thank you, General Williams. Thank you for all friends and colleagues, members of our General Assembly. I can't stand here without being overwhelmed by the thousands of names that are etched on the glass and in these stones. Virginians who gave everything that they could possibly give for freedom. And we can't read this great statement on this wall where we're encouraged, but not just encouraged, but instructed to tell all who enjoy freedom of the deeds and sacrifices required for freedom to flourish. Friends, sometimes when I'm lost for words, I find the best thing to do is to pray. And so please join me. Heavenly Father, we lift up every name in this great hall into your arms. We lift up their families. We lift up every American and every Virginian that serves in our armed forces. We lift up their families. We ask for your protection and grace around them. We ask you to help Americans who enjoy freedom to always remember the deeds and the sacrifices required for freedom to flourish. Father, thank you. Thank you for these amazing men and women. And all God's people say, amen. I have to tell you, we can't start with thank yous until we also thank all of the Gold Star families. We thank the families who serve with their loved ones. And so we stop for a moment and recognize your sacrifice as well. I'd like to thank everyone for their selfless contributions. I have to say that being here today is not just an incredible honor, but it's a priority for everybody standing here. It's a priority to support everyone who serves in our armed forces with all that we've got. You know, the Commonwealth, as you all know, has the 7th largest veteran population. Over 700,000 veterans call Virginia home. We have the largest population of women veterans in the nation. I have one standing next to me. Our veterans make Virginia what it is today. They make our communities better. They make our lives better. Whether it's the owner of your favorite coffee shop, or leaders in volunteerism, they're pastor leaders in congregations, they're your neighbor, they're Virginians. I say many times that the spirit of Virginia is alive and well. Well, let me tell you, it is alive and well in our veterans. Our veterans, in fact, they serve today actively. General Williams, I want to thank the 8,500 men and women that serve in our Virginia National Guard and our Virginia Defense Force. As I've had the honor of traveling around this extraordinary Commonwealth of Virginia, I am constantly reminded and humbled by the vast number of men and women who put America and freedom first to ensure that Virginia continues to be the best place, yes, for our active duty military, but also for all of our veterans. Our entire executive branch and such a huge part of our legislative branch goes to work every day with veterans and their interests on the front of our mind. So, the bills that we are ceremonially signing today, 23 of them, include bills to assist in military spouse, teacher, licensure, reciprocity. Thank you. That is absolutely a tongue twister. We're going to make it easier for teachers to get their license in Virginia when they're married to a veteran. You know, by the way, that's called reciprocity. We are finding better ways to utilize the Virginia Military Survivors and Dependents Educational Program benefits, because, friends, they go unused often. We, in fact, are making it easier for veterans to obtain hunting and fishing licenses at reduced or no costs. Several of the bills that we are signing today were bills that we collectively talked about before we ever came into session. And I want to thank all of my legislative colleagues for carrying them. And I want to thank the entire General Assembly for, in fact, unanimously approving them. This legislative package will also allow for 8,500 National Guardsmen to utilize grant funding for higher education tuition, a critical tool to recruit even more. We, in fact, are making it easier to find ways to provide greater access to child care for our men and women of the armed forces. And in fact, we will now also have a license plate dedicated to the United States Navy that will support the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society in Virginia. Importantly, this package also created a mental health care coordinator within the Department of Veterans Services to meet the critical needs of so many veterans around the Commonwealth. I want to stop for a minute because with us today is Dr. Bridget Williams. Thank you for being here. Who Delegate Phil Scott tells me was the inspiration for House Bill 40, which authorizes a disabled veteran special license plate issued to a disabled veteran to be transferred upon his or her death to his or her surviving spouse. You see, Dr. Williams' husband, Lieutenant Commander Kevin R. Williams Sr., passed away in 2019 unexpectedly. And when she went to the DMV to renew her tags for her husband's vehicle, she was told that she was no longer able to keep it. Well, Dr. Williams expressed how much the license tag meant to her husband. She said that his license plate reminded him of his time serving in the United States Navy. While to some this may seem just like a license plate, a tag, to a surviving spouse, it means so much more. I'm honored that this bill again was unanimously passed and signed into law. And Dr. Williams, thank you for inspiring us. Each and every one of these 23 bills we could talk about with a similar amount of passion and enthusiasm. It's a powerful statement that 23 bills were passed unanimously. I want to thank our Veteran Caucus for all the work that you do in order to make sure that our veterans are taken care of. These 23 bills are just the beginning. When the time comes for service members to retire, to turn the page on the next chapter of their life, we want them to make their permanent home in Virginia. It is why we are relentlessly pursuing the elimination of up to $40,000 of their retirement benefits from being taxed in Virginia, and we need to get this done in the budget that's coming through my desk. Our message is very simple. When you come back to the safety of our shores after serving our country, we want you in Virginia. Today, I'm also proud to sign the proclamation recognizing Armed Forces Day on May 21st, to honor and recognize the courage and dedication that we've been talking about today. This is a great opportunity for us to pay tribute and to remember that freedom is not free. It's because of so few that so many of us are able to live free in the United States. And so now it is my honor to sign this proclamation declaring that today is a day, Armed Forces Day, that we say thank you. By virtue of the authority vested by the Constitution in the Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, there is hereby officially recognized Armed Forces Day. Whereas President Truman established a single holiday to recognize and honor individuals who defend our nation both at home and abroad. Whereas on August 31st, 1949, Secretary of Defense Lewis Johnson announced the creation of Armed Forces Day, and citizens across the United States thanked all of our military branches for their service on a single day. Whereas on May 21st, 2022, Virginians will honor and recognize the courage and dedication of the nation's military service men and women. Whereas Virginians welcome the opportunity to pay special tribute to the brave men and women who keep our nation safe every day. And whereas on this day, citizens of the Commonwealth express their gratitude to those in military service who protect the freedoms that our country enjoys. Now, therefore, I, Glenn Youngkin, do hereby recognize May 21st, 2022 as Armed Forces Day in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and I call this observance to the attention of all citizens. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all together say thank you to the heroes of Virginia and our nation. Thank you. Oh, I know.
back to you, Secretary.
Okay, so what a great day, great ceremony. I really appreciate your attendance here. This will be followed by photos. Everyone, again, thank you, and we really appreciate all you do in supporting our veterans, our guardsmen. You all make it worth it. So again, thank you very much.